Welcome back to Liberty and Finance. We're at the Rule Symposium on Natural Resources Investing in Boca Raton, Florida. We're here with Bruno Scarpelli. He is the Executive Director of Centaurus Metals Limited. He's joining us here to talk to us and introduce us to what's going on in his company, which has operations in multiple jurisdictions. I understand you're the CEO of the Brazilian operations. And if you could let us know, one of the things our viewers are always interested in is what is BRICS Rule's thinking about different companies, because he talks to us every month on our channel about being a contrarian, finding value before the general public recognizes it, so that you can position yourselves ahead of time, that sort of thing. Usually he finds companies that are doing that as well. So could you let us know what Centaurus Metals is doing and why you believe it attracted Rick's attention? Because the only exhibitors here at the conference are those who were invited to be here, so there's a reason why you're here, and help us understand that so that we can, our viewers can understand as prospective investors why they might be interested in Centaurus Metals.
Sure. First of all, thank you for having us here. It's always good to promote our story, and I'm going to present what we think are the reasons why Rick, included us in his selective list of groups. So we are an Australian listed company. Our shares are traded in Australia, but all our investments are made in Brazil. We've been in the country for 15 years now, and that is precisely one of the advantages of the company. So we know the land very well. We know how to operate there. I'm obviously Brazilian. I'm based there. And Rick joined us in 2019 after we've acquired the Jaguar nickel sulfide project in the north of Brazil. Up until that moment, we were focusing on iron ore, and we did so from 2009 through to 2014. We still hold a couple of assets in iron ore, but from 2019 to date, we have devoted most of our time and efforts to the Jaguar nickel sulfide project. And why is that? Why does that stand out? Well, first of all, it's a nickel sulfide project. They're not very easy to come by, very rare. It's in a great jurisdiction. Brazil is a mining friendly place. Mining represents a significant portion of the country's GDP. And we are in a location where there's infrastructure. So we are 40 kilometers away from a high voltage power line. There's abundance of water, there's workforce. And when we talk about nickel sulfides, it's important to see because the purpose of that project is to supply battery grade nickel to the EV industry. And Brazil is a renewable power house. 80% of the energy generated in Brazil is renewable. So that means the carbon footprint of the Jaguar project is going to be extremely low.
Is most of that hydropower that they have?
Most of it's hydropower, and picking up now, starting from 5 years back, a bit of solar and wind as well.
And tell us more about the nickel sulfide, why that's significant to the current and the future economy.
Yeah. So I think most of your clients, most of your viewers know we are in the middle of a revolution. We are moving away from internal combustion engines and going to electric vehicles, and that will demand the materials to produce those batteries. And nickel is a key ingredient of that. One important type of the batteries that are being produced, they require a lot of nickel. And to produce class 1 nickel, which is the nickel that goes into those batteries, it's a lot cheaper to produce it from a nickel sulfide deposit than it is from a nickel laterite deposit. And that's why Jaguar is so special. 70% of our resources are only, they're above 200 meters of depth, so very shallow, very amenable to open pit. So we are planning to put out our DFS for the Jaguar project by November this year, and you will see that will include only open pit. There's no underground. We will get into underground later. And this project, we're planning to produce 20,000 tons of contained nickel per annum. And with the resources that we have today, that already ensures we'll be producing for 20 years.
And when you say the resources we have today, some companies have been explaining to us that on an existing geography where they're mining, sometimes they'll continue to do exploration, define, further understand the geology of the area, where the deposit actually might extend beyond where it currently is.
Yes, we continue to drill. So all of our deposits, they're still open at depth. So we haven't hit the end of the mineralization yet. We've just yesterday, we've put out some more drill results, which are great results. We had over 20 meters of intercepts, single intercepts with more than 1.5% nickel. So all high grade. And we are currently drilling what we call the Jaguar Deeps, which is drilling below 600 meters down to 1.2, 1.5 thousand meters. And that will probably expand the resource that we have beyond the mark of 1 million tons of contained nickel, which is where we are today.
And so purchasers of Centaurus Metals stock become potential beneficiaries of these additional discoveries that might happen in the future, but also beneficial owners of the production you're already producing. And your anticipation is that the fundamental demand, because of the new electric economy, sounds like will drive high demand for the metal and therefore support a firm price for nickel going forward in the market. There was a rather spectacular, I would call it a blow up of the nickel trading market in the COMEX about a year and a half ago. Any lessons learned about that changed the way that Centaurus goes about hedging, the value of the metals that you produce, or anything given what you saw happen on the nickel market?
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the reasons why we decided to produce the nickel sulfate as the end product, and not only the nickel not the concentrate. What happens in the nickel market today is changing very rapidly because of the EV revolution. Because we have abundance of water, low cost power, and the resources that allow us to do that is nickel sulfide, we will produce nickel sulfate. Nickel sulfate is the material, is the product that goes into the batteries. So what that does to us from a price perspective is that we get a premium over the LME nickel price. If you were to produce a concentrate, we would get a discount. We would get something close to 75, maybe 80% of the nickel LME price. But producing a sulfate, we get not only 100%, probably a little bit more, we get a premium over that price. So we are taking advantage of the resources we have and the advantages of being in Brazil to produce a value-added product.
And so what people observed on our channel, we were watching the nickel market when there was this big spike in price, and then some trades were canceled and rolled back and that sort of thing. Is that cause any business risk, that kind of a fragility in the market for you going forward?
Well, the reason for that is the whole thing that's going on with Russia, because Russia is an important producer of nickel, both class 1 and ferronickel. So when that happened and the ban on Russia occurred, the whole world got scared that there wasn't going to be enough nickel to supply the demand. And what that shows to us is that just heightens the importance of Jaguar as a world-class supplier of class 1 nickel.
And in the geography that's not necessarily under that particular constraint of that geo-conflict that's going on. Now, there's been lots of talk in the past, Andy Schechtman from Miles Franklin has been talking about this for 3 years, but this idea of the BRICS nations, which includes Brazil, wanting to basically form cooperative alliances with other like-minded countries, especially in the East. Do you see any challenge for U.S. investors or investors from Europe who aren't in that consortium of BRICS countries dealing with a company that's primarily working out of a Brazilian mine?
That's a very good question. We just had a very interesting presentation here about that, talking about what the BRICS are doing and the currency. it's important to tell everyone that even though Brazil is obviously part of the BRICS, there is a very strong feeling in the country of trying to avoid what happened to countries that have gone down the communism, the socialist path too far. And I mentioned Venezuela and I mentioned Argentina, who have made that choice and have not done so well. The population of Brazil is extremely afraid of that being the case, and I think because we have such a strong democracy, I don't see us, even though we're part of the BRICS, I don't see us distancing ourselves from the Western world, and we want to be obviously involved in this whole EV transformation and revolution. I don't think Brazil will exclude or limit its trades with the rest of the world. No.
Well, we'll be grateful for that as much as possible to see how Centaurus Metals and the nickel market and the parts of it that make sense of the new green economy are able to flourish. And we hope our investors and viewers, folks that look in the description of this video, you'll find a link to the company, Centaurus Metals. If you want to get more information, they should go to the company website. And get more information there. And we're grateful, Bruno Scarpelli, Executive Director and CEO of Brazilian Operations, for joining us here the first time on Liberty and Finance.
Thank you so much.
This is Kaiser Johnson with Liberty and Finance, and this is the Miles Franklin Weekly Special for September 18th through September 25th, 2023, while supplies last. This week we feature two different specials. 10-bar bundles of Nordic Mint 5-ounce bars at $1.99 over spot per ounce, and quarter-ounce gold eagles at $59.99 over melt. First, when you purchase 10 or more 5-ounce Nordic Mint bars, you pay only $1.99 over spot per ounce. 3/9 fine silver, these are priced lower than almost anything else other than 1,000-ounce bars, but with the far better liquidity of the 5-ounce size. The Gold Eagle was first released in 1986 and has been one of the most popular gold bullion coins in the world, providing incredible recognizability and investor trust. The quarter-ounce Eagle is additionally sought after for its high degree of flexibility and liquidity. Like the 1-ounce Eagle, the quarter Eagle is 22-karat gold strengthened with copper. Its 1/4 of a troy ounce of gold comes 40 to a tube, 2,000 to a box, and it's available at just $59.99 over melt while supplies last. Both our specials this week are IRA eligible. If you'd like to learn more about a precious metals IRA, call us, and we'll be happy to help you in that process. To order our specials or any of the many other options we have available, call us at 1-888-81-LIBERTY. That's 1-888-815-4237. We're available after hours and on weekends, and we look forward to speaking with you.